She was sent away for being too clever. Then a duke arrived with a proposal and no apology. The first thing Lady Eleanor Whitmore learned about society was that intelligence could be more dangerous than beauty. At 23, Eleanor had a mind that could remember every book she read, solve complicated household accounts in minutes, and recognize a lie before the liar had finished speaking. Unfortunately, her family considered none of these qualities admirable. "You think too much," her aunt often complained. "You speak when a lady should remain silent," her cousin added. And her father had once sighed, "If only you were a little less clever." Eleanor had tried. She truly had. At dinner parties, she stopped correcting gentlemen when they quoted history incorrectly. She smiled politely when men explained subjects she understood better than they did. She even pretended not to notice when her cousins copied her ideas. But one evening, everything changed. During a grand dinner at Whitmore Hall, Lord Harrington proudly announced that he had discovered a way to save the family estate from its growing debts. Eleanor glanced at the papers. "That calculation is wrong," she said quietly. The dining room fell silent. Her father stared at her. Lord Harrington laughed. "My dear girl, perhaps you should leave financial matters to men." Eleanor looked directly at the figures. "If you sign that agreement, you will lose the Eastern farms within 2 years." Nobody believed her. A tall stranger with dark hair and cold grey eyes. The Duke of Ashbourne. He had said almost nothing all evening. But when Eleanor returned to her seat, she noticed his eyes remained on her. 3 months later, her father's estate was in serious trouble. And Eleanor's prediction had come true. Instead of admitting she had been right, her family blamed her. "You embarrassed us," her father said. "I told the truth." That is precisely the problem. The following morning, Eleanor was sent away to a small country cottage belonging to her late grandmother. There was no farewell party. Only a carriage waiting in the rain. As Eleanor climbed inside, her father gave her one final warning. "Perhaps the countryside will teach you humility." Eleanor looked back at Whitmore Hall. "Perhaps," she replied, "it will teach me peace." She never expected to see the Duke of Ashbourne again. Until one cold morning, 6 months later, a black carriage stopped outside her cottage. Eleanor opened the door. The Duke stood on the steps. No servants came forward. No flowers were offered. No apology was given. "Your Grace," Eleanor said cautiously. "Lady Eleanor. What brings you here?" "I have come to offer you marriage." Eleanor blinked. Then she laughed. "You traveled 50 miles to make a joke?" "I don't joke about marriage." "Then you have certainly chosen a strange woman to propose to." "I chose the right one." Eleanor folded her arms. "And why would a duke want a woman who has been sent away for being too clever?" "Because I need someone clever." That answer stopped her. The Duke stepped inside. "My estate is being attacked financially by men who want control of my mines and shipping interests. Someone inside my household is helping them. And you believe I can find out who?" "I know you can." Eleanor studied him. "And what do I receive in exchange?" "Freedom." She raised an eyebrow. "Marriage rarely comes with freedom." "Mine will." The Duke placed a document on the table. "You will have control over your own correspondence, your own household accounts, and a separate allowance. No one will force you to entertain people you dislike. No one will tell you what to read." Eleanor stared at him. "You have thought this through." "I thought you would require conditions." "And if I refuse?" "I leave." "No anger?" "No." "No insult?" "No." "No attempt to convince me?" The Duke shook his head. "I came because I wanted you." I will not insult you by pretending you owe me an answer. For the first time, Eleanor saw something beneath his cold expression. Respect. She slowly sat down. Then tell me the truth. What truth? Why me? The Duke's expression changed. Because 6 months ago, you were the only person at that dinner brave enough to tell the truth when everyone else preferred a comfortable lie. Eleanor looked away. You remember? I remember everything you said. She examined ledgers. She questioned servants. She studied shipping records. And soon she discovered something strange. Someone was stealing from him. But the thief was not a servant. It was someone much closer. At a formal dinner, Eleanor suddenly realized the truth. Lord Harrington. The same man who had caused her family's financial disaster was connected to the Duke's enemies. Eleanor immediately warned the Duke. But before they could act, Harrington arrived at the estate. He smiled when he saw Eleanor. Well, well. The clever little lady has returned. Eleanor remained calm. You should be more careful with your accounts, Lord Harrington. His smile disappeared. The Duke stepped beside her. You will leave my estate tonight. Harrington laughed. You cannot prove anything. Eleanor held up a ledger. I can. Harrington's face went pale. She had found every payment. Every missing shipment. The evidence was undeniable. Harrington was arrested before midnight. But the victory came with a painful revelation. The Duke's enemies had not merely stolen money. They had deliberately destroyed Eleanor's family. And her own father had unknowingly helped them. The next morning, Eleanor received a letter from home. Her father apologized. For the first time in her life, he admitted that she had been right. Eleanor folded the letter quietly. The Duke found her by the window. You don't have to forgive him, he said. I know. You don't have to return. I know. He stood beside her. Then what will you do? Eleanor looked toward the sunrise. For once, I will decide for myself. The Duke smiled. And your decision? She turned toward him. I accept your proposal. He looked almost surprised. But I have conditions. I expected nothing less. You will never tell me to be quiet because my opinion makes you uncomfortable. Agreed. You will never hide important matters from me. Agreed. And if I discover that you have been keeping secrets? The Duke smiled. Then I suppose I shall spend the rest of my life being interrogated by the cleverest woman in England. Eleanor laughed. That sounds like a terrible fate. I suspect, he said softly, it may be the best fate I have ever known. Their wedding took place in spring. The same society that had once whispered that Eleanor was too clever now whispered something very different. The Duke of Ashbourne adored his wife. He asked for her opinion at dinner. He trusted her with his estates. He listened when she spoke. And whenever someone suggested that a duchess should be quieter, the Duke would simply smile and say, My wife is not too clever. He would glance proudly at Eleanor. She is exactly clever enough to have chosen me. And Eleanor, who had once been sent away because she refused to make herself smaller for others, finally understood something important. She had never been too clever. She had simply been surrounded by people who were frightened of a woman who knew her own worth. And the Duke? He had never come to rescue her. He had come because he recognized her. And that, Eleanor discovered, was far more precious than an apology.